All right, and we are recording. Now we're actually recording.
Yeah. Good morning, Fenton. How's everything, brother?
Good morning, bro. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. I'm doing amazing.
Of course you are. We want to. You look great. We want to welcome everyone to Products of Circumstance, the new podcast with Ken Skeen and myself, Fenton Joseph. We discuss mental health and mindset matters through the lens of Black men. We cover topics like family and relationship trauma, relationships with money, self-worth, positive thinking, gratefulness, and so much more. The show is unscripted, unfiltered, and mostly unedited. We choose our topics randomly. Only Ken knows what we're going to talk about today. And before we get into it, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and please share if you get something out of it and think somebody else could use it. All right, let's get into it. Ken, what are we talking about today?
Today, we will be talking about the circle of friends you keep. It's a
Deep.
good one. So yesterday at my job, again, I'm talking to one of the sales reps about the circle of friends that he keeps. And as you get older, and you know what, this also includes family. So circle of friends, circle of family you keep around you.
It does?
It truly does.
I guess so, yeah.
And I guess, you know what, it is the, you don't want the negative. You don't want the negative around you. You don't want the circle of friends around you that are putting you down or not helping you develop as a person. You know, everyone should be each other's crutches. You know, that lyric? Yeah, that's a real thing. But yes, that does include family as well. So you can have family around you, parents, uncles, siblings, cousins, that just on a general basis they're not in the same path of, you know, I want to be successful or I believe in setting goals and reaching my goals, but they just want to be Debbie Downers and tell you how, you know, it can't be done, or how do you think you can do it? Or, you know, let's just not follow a goal today and just do nothing and be couch potatoes. I mean, you have to be careful with the circle of friends you keep in your life.
Look out for that couch potato siblings.
Couch potatoes, I'm saying. But that, again, that does include your own family. So I mean, you want to be careful with that. Who you keep in your circle. Again, the older you get, I feel the smaller your circle should get, because you should have people around you that are going to be motivated as you, or even more motivated. You know what I'm saying? You always want to learn something from the people that surround you, and you want to be able to teach the people that surround you as well. So if it's not reciprocal and you're not helping one another learn something new, learn a new task, learn a new idea, and spread that, then who do you have around you? You know, who are you keeping? The company you keep, who's around you that's not helping you reach that goal, or even just giving idea, like putting ideas out. If you're around someone that's just talking about gossip all day and not actually talking about ideas, where are you going? You know, what light and what tunnel are you heading towards?
Will you become a gossip too?
I don't like gossiping. I'm not a fan of it when it comes to those kind of shows. I'm not saying anyone who watches, listen, everyone wants to watch those kinds of shows. I'm not going to put any show on blast right now.
Well, I know what you're talking about. And they suck you in. I mean, you know, they get the ratings for a reason.
Yeah, everyone wants to see the train wreck. You know, you want to watch a train wreck of someone else's life so that you can feel better about your own. I get it. If you don't want to admit that, that's on you. I'd rather watch, if I do watch TV, something educational. I want to learn something new. There's so many things in this world that you can learn new. Why would I want to watch that? Don't get it twisted. Once in a while, I'll put something on.
Real Housewives of Atlanta. You know?
But I'm talking about the people that really just, and I'm not saying that everyone who watches a show like that, I'm not going to generalize. I'm not saying that everyone who watches those kind of shows aren't motivated and aren't in your corner. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the person literally stop it.
Right, I'll get into
I'm saying people who really just want to gossip about other people's lives instead of just, you know, creating their own, fixing their own, you know, moving forward on their path. You're just staying stagnant and they want to bring you along. What is it? Misery loves misery. All right. I don't want that in my life. I don't need someone who wants misery in their life around me. And you can choose that. They say you can't choose your family. Misery loves company, but misery loves misery. Okay, so
just in it, just constantly being miserable.
They just want to be
cycle.
I'm not with that. I'm sorry. I'm really not. And I know how the saying is you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends. It's true. You can't choose your family, but you can choose who you want around you in your family. You can choose who gives you the best motivation, and you can choose the people in your family that you feel, all they want to do is bring you down or talk about someone behind their backs. And what do you think they're doing about when you're not around?
Talking about you.
Talking about you. I can't believe they're doing something else.
How come he got the curly hair? I didn't get the curly hair.
Oh man, it's good stuff.
No, but you're right. Okay, so obviously gravitated towards family. I don't know why. I'm not your therapist, but let's stay there for a minute. Because
I just wanted to share.
Because I think that a lot of times, especially when you have siblings, your family is your first circle of friends. That's your first circle, your first peer group, or your siblings. And it definitely does happen where you're going to be motivated to take on certain behaviors and do things with your life that's based on what you see your siblings do. Or it might be, a cousin or something like that. Just as an example, we went on vacation last week. We stayed at our cousin's place up north, and, they do well for themselves, and they had a second place, and they let us stay. It's like, yeah, you can use our vacation home. My wife looked at her cousin and said, oh, she's going to college? Great. I'm going to go to college too. And that was a big part of her, choosing like how she was going to live her life. Like, now she had committed herself to education, but seeing her older cousin go to college, who was the first person in the family to go to college, was like, yo, that's dope. I'm going to do the same thing. And she did. And, they have a great relationship, and there's a lot of parallels in their lives because she was influenced by seeing this peer in her circle, which happened to be a family. At the same time, we can also be negatively impacted by the people who are in our family. I was thinking about my brothers. I love my brothers. They're great people. And I would say that growing up, we definitely, it was iron sharpens iron. My parents poured a lot into us in terms of like, math and science and tech and entrepreneurship and all this other stuff. And I was definitely inspired by my two older brothers. I hope they're listening to this because I'm trying to give them some flowers. We don't always do that. But guys, I want you to know, I always thought that they were very smart. They're both very good writers, and they could take their ideas, their visions, and they could write it down as a business plan. Both of them are phenomenal at writing business plans. And it's how they were able to accomplish a lot of things in life is they could take a vision, they could put it down on paper and then execute on it. And that was something that I saw. Now, being the little brother, I'm like, they're not so smart. If they could do it, I could do it. But it came from a place of love. Like, I don't know if I've shared this with my older brother, but part of the reason I got into, he knows, part of the reason I got into project management in the advertising world is because I needed to get a job and I wasn't sure exactly what to do. My brother and one of my best friends, they were both in project management. And I was like, if they can do it, I can do it. And so that was a big trajectory change in my life because it set me up at about the time that I was getting married to have a good career, make really good money, pick up some really great skills, which ultimately I ended up employing in entrepreneurship as owner of a web design agency because I was working in digital production. And so, seeing the people around me has definitely been really influential in my life and the decisions that I've made. I don't have any negative experiences where I've seen, things go left and it kind of drew me into that. It's all been positive. Even when I look at things like, my parents' relationship and like getting divorced, I said, you know what? I don't want that. I don't want to do that. Oh, the yelling and that's not for me. I like peace and quiet. So I was even able to look at some negative things in the people around me, in my family, and say, you hold that. And so I try to have a happy, go lucky life, with my family. Um, there was something recently I heard about. Oh, it's Kevin Hart. I don't know if you saw the interview on the Pivot podcast.
I did.
Okay, it was phenomenal. Yeah, I think I shared the link with you. It was a phenomenal interview that he did, and he was talking about how really successful people have really tight circles. He was like naming like Jay-Z and him and all these people. He was like, you can count on like two hands how many people are really LeBron, how many people are really in their circle. And you said as you get older, the circle gets smaller. Bro, it's you, it's Jonathan, it's Tim, it's Paulo, it's I don't, I don't like leave anybody out.
You gotta start up. You gotta start up settings and people.
And by the way, I'm mentioning like my close guy friends. Although there are certainly some close female friends as well. Like it's really interesting how, and these are really long-term relationships. These are long-term relationships. These are not new relationships. I have maybe like a handful of new people in my life, like within the past 10 years. And my point was that, these are people that I can trust. You know what I'm saying? Like they know me, I know them, they know my intentions and I know theirs. No one's trying to be shady. No one has an ego. And we're just like, you and I was like, yo, we want to do a podcast. All right, cool. Like, I know what you're about. You know what I'm about. We just do it together. Like it came together so quickly and so organically because there was no trying to figure out, well, what's your angle and so forth and so on. Like you need people around you that you could just vibe with, attack with, get the bag with. We've said candidly on telephone conversations to one another with no cameras, right? That we grow from one another. That the conversations that you and I have, we always leave the conversation feeling like more built up, you know what I'm saying? And more positive and more knowledgeable. And that's why we do this, because we know that we can build with one another. Unlike some people that I talk to far less frequently, you get off the phone with them or being in their presence and you feel drained. And you're like, oh God, why did I waste my time? I can't get that hour back or whatever the case is. And at this point, and I'm sure the same is very, very, very much the same for you, with the exception of people that you're like mentoring and, trying to be of assistance to, I'm sure the people that are in your life are only people that you can feel good about being in their presence and having conversations with. But you let me know, if I'm right about that.
Yeah, no, right on the head, man. You hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what I keep around me. Anyone that's in my circle at this point that I consider my circle, that is, I don't feel drained after I'm done talking to them. We bounce ideas off each other. We're able to laugh. You're able to pick up. You don't have to speak for a month, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months.
Right.
And you can pick up right where you left off. So I have people in my circle that I don't get to speak to. Like you, I get to speak to you probably. I think we speak about probably every day. Yeah, you and I converse in some way. Before we started this podcast, you and I would speak, at least once a week.
And it was Instagram.
So, it was Instagram, but we still spoke
because we have our car passion, and we always share links and stuff. It's like basically every day.
So I mean, yeah, like we both just said, as you get older, hopefully your circle is getting smaller with people who don't just drain the energy out of you. It can't be one-sided every single time that you're giving off your energy to someone, but all they have is just putting their problems. It's always everything's a problem. There's another problem. There's another problem. Look, I am not a therapist. I really, truly love helping friends and family, just listening to them. Some people just want someone to listen to, have someone to listen to them. And that's fine. I have no problem with that. But if every conversation is you draining my energy and not giving some back, I'm sorry. After a while, listen, are you paying me for this? Like, is this a session?
Can't do it. Let me give you my Venmo.
I can't do this.
I can't do it.
I can't.
I need.
So
I hate.
again,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Because I'm with
again,
you.
yeah, exactly. When it comes to, again, the discussion is the circle of friends you keep, and we kind of bled that over into the family you keep around you as well. You have to be careful, remembering that you need to recharge as well, because how can you help others if you're not at your 100%?
Mm-hmm.
And if your circle around you just keeps draining your battery, you need to rethink who's around you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the person that's always willing to help, little things like maybe taking someone to the airport. I'm just using anything at this point, an example. But that person can't help you, move a couch. Just little things like, if the other person always has an excuse of why they can't help you, but get upset that you can't help them.
Right.
Maybe you need to rethink that person and why they in your life, and start playing chess and not checkers, and move on.
I saw something about that with if people only reach out when they need you, and then when you're not available, they might be upset with you or act funny, and you gotta watch out for that, because especially if you're a giver, you're a generous person. We're both generous people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want to help others. We want to be there for others. We show a lot of genuine love to people. And that's just who you are. And, some people will take advantage of that. So in your circle of friends, it's important to weed out the people, like you said, who are takers and not givers. Now, we all take in the sense that we lean on one another. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to this podcast because you called me to find out how a podcast should go. Like, what do you need to do? Because you have a friend in your circle of friends who does podcasting. So you should be able to lean on me. So we again, I just make sure people understand, we all take in a sense, but it's give and take. And
Right.
If you're giving, then it's all good. Like, I don't want to be the person that constantly calls up, our cousins and says, can we use your vacation house? And then you use all the toilet paper and never fill it back up. You know what I'm saying? Or, like what? And it's not, you got to be careful about this too. You don't want to put like a price on people's generosity and love. People do things out of the kindness of their hearts. They give. It's not that everything is a quid pro quo and everything is about reciprocity. That's not it. It's just what you said, which is to make sure that you're not being drained, whether emotionally, physically, financially. No one in that circle of friends should feel like they're constantly being tapped out, you know what I'm saying, by the interactions. It's called a sacrifice if you don't have it to give. It's not a sacrifice if you have it to give. A sacrifice is when you give of yourself when you don't have. Like, it's a zero-sum game. Like, you're going to do without so that somebody else can do. And I think one of the most beautiful things that we can do is to sacrifice for one another. At the same time, my God, man, put something back in my basket. You know what I'm saying? Like, help a brother out. Don't just leave me stranded. So all my friends are like that. I love the people that are in my group. There's a lot of entrepreneurs. There's a lot of people that are 9-to-5ers as well, and maybe don't necessarily understand fully or live the entrepreneurial life, but they're supportive, and that's what I need. The most is just support and understanding. I'm never usually one to like complain about stuff, but excuse me, it's nice to have an ear when you need it. The most important ear, by the way, being my spouse. Above all else. And I think that's important to say, not just because she listens to this, but if you're no, real talk. Like, if you're check that box. If you're in a relationship, your circle of friends shouldn't, you know what I'm saying, be above your relationship. And that's a problem that some people have with, with that boundary, is your spouse is supposed to come first. And you should be with somebody that you can talk to and get a lot of the things that you need. Like my spouse is not an entrepreneur, but she's extremely adept in the world of business and just so many different, facets of what I do. I can have those conversations with her. By the way, that's intentional. I chose my spouse. I said, this person is my friend and I love that we can have conversations and she's really smart. And I chose the person that I was decided to be with so that we could live that type of life. So I don't have to go outside, like I have relationships, where I can talk to people and get different perspectives. But my spouse, she really is, really everything that I need at its core. And then I have mentors, people who are in the tech space and the digital space and the entrepreneur space who've been doing it longer than I have. And so they can give me that 30,000 foot view, things that I haven't seen or haven't experienced yet. Tell me, hey, look out for this. Don't do this. Try this. Invest in that. Da 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 da. Like, you should really construct this life that you have in the circle of friends. Don't just. Okay, and I know I'm sucking up a lot of air, but I think, bro, a lot of people decide that because somebody has been in their life for a long time, that they just have to be in their circle of friends just because they've been there.
Yes.
Right? And it's like you see people and you're like, how come you don't cut that person off? Well, I've known them for so long and such and such. It's like, yeah, I get that, but are they draining you? Yes. Are they giving anything back and giving any value into your, like, no. I was like, okay, so then like you can love people from afar. You don't have to keep them in your circle of friends. Like they can just be somebody that you check in with every now and again. Right? So like be intentional about the people that you have in your circle of friends. Don't just people default. Kevin Hart said it. He said it. I'm not, this is not a novel thought. He said it. That spot is earned, not given. You earn the spot. You know what I'm saying? As long as I've known you, right. If you become somebody that's draining me and I'm always feeling tapped out and I don't enjoy our conversations and our friendship becomes a burden, I was like, all right, I'll have to switch things up. And that would be fair to me and it would be fair to you because I wouldn't be being honest with you. You know what I'm saying? If I just pretended to tolerate, the type of person that you've become or the dynamic that our relationship has morphed into, that's not being honest. And that's a real thing too. Like you got to speak up for yourself because it's not being fair to the other person. You're lying. You're lying by omission. You're saying, Fenton, yeah, our relationship is exactly the same it's always been. It's all good. Yeah, I love you, dog. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, you get off the phone and it's like, this freaking guy, Fenton. Like, can't every Thursday I got to talk to this guy for an hour. It's the worst. It's like, just let it go.
This freaking guy, Fenton. Just get a black shirt already.
Let's get a black shirt, man. Do your laundry, Fenton. All right? We have a rule here. We wear black shirts, not blue.
That's blue?
Say what you got to say. Say it with your chest, dog.
Say it with your chest. Ah, man. Sorry about that, audience.
This is my Inkwell shirt. I got this up in Martha's Vineyard, the Inkwell Beach.
This is my Mighty Sharp barbershop shirt.
Yeah, well, when you have hair on your head, you're not follically challenged like me, and you can go to the barber, you get to wear a barber shirt.
We'll see what people in the audience from the 80s and 90s what Mighty Sharp barbershop if they know about Coming to America. But anyway.
You just told them.
Oh, man. Sorry to get off topic. But yeah, circle of friends. Fenton, you definitely brought up a lot of good points when it comes to someone that's in your life that you have not cut off, and maybe it's time to cut them off, especially if they're the ones just draining you. And it's by default, yes, they're just still in your life because they've been around for so long. Okay. It's tough. It is a tough decision. I have made those cutoffs. I'm sure you have as well.
Definitely.
When we first met in our teens, I know we both had very large circles, and as we both got older, our circles definitely shrunk dramatically, and for good reason, though. For good reason. So, I mean, you have people in the audience that are hopefully reflecting off what we're saying and realizing, wow, Bobby, I'm just using the name, that does drain the energy from me and doesn't fill my cup. What am I going to do about this? It doesn't put anything back in my basket. I'll use your reference. But yeah, you got to think about that. Is that person or persons in your life worth being? Are they worthy of being in your circle? And yes, you're allowed to think that way. Stop thinking that you have to fix everyone. You can't fix everyone. Your job is not to fix everyone. And there are people listening that, feel, well, if I don't fix them, who will? Maybe they need to fix themselves.
I don't know. I can't tell you who's going to fix them.
I am not a therapist. I have to say this, but maybe they need to fix themselves. And you need to, like Fenton said, I'll reiterate, check in on them, make sure they're okay.
Yes.
You've known this person a long time. I'm not saying, we are not saying to cut people off. We're not saying to just completely cut people off here that have been in your life for a long time. It's just saying if you're giving out your energy and they're not reciprocating that energy towards you, why do you keep helping if they're not going to be able to help you? And again, it's not a monetary thing, but it's an energy thing. It's a vibe thing. Maybe you just need to reflect on yourself and just say, it's okay to check in on this person when I need to, but you don't have to sit there and have your energy drained from them every single day. It's okay to fix yourself first rather than worrying about fixing the world. You have to fix yourself before you can help others. We've talked about this in other podcasts from the past, where it's okay that you have to. I remember Fenton said it one time. When you plug your phone in at night, to get it to 100%, so that the next day you're at 100%, and now you can go in. So that's like recharging your body, recharging your brain, recharging your soul. You have to be 100% if you're going to be able to help others. But if you have people around you just draining you and keeping you at 30%, how can you help them? How can you help yourself? So that's why it's very important that circle you keep, that you guys, again, be each other's crutches and you can lean on one another. But it should be a battle that you're in the field, the battlefield of life. You should be able to depend on each other, not just one depending on the other. That's just, it's not.
I've been shot. I need somebody to carry me.
It's
my leg.
It's not fair to you. It's not fair to you, and you have to realize.
Why am I always carrying him every time he gets shot? Maybe he should stop getting shot. And the last time he got shot, I told him to patch the wound, and he didn't patch it, and he let it bleed, and now now his leg fell off, and now I got to carry him the rest of the way. It's like, first of all, we fill up our cars with gas. We charge our phones. You know what I'm saying? Like we feed our bodies with food when we're hungry. Like, it's mind-boggling that people don't make the connection between emotional and mental, like straight up depletion. You know what I'm saying? And every other thing in life, like everything requires power. Right? I got my speakers here hooked up on my lab. Everything is plugged in. Everything is charging and it's connected to a power source. It's funny. My former pastor, I remember he made an analogy once. He said, when you turn a ceiling fan on and it's spinning, he said, if you cut the power, if you turn the switch off, it'll keep spinning. Right? And for that brief while, it's hard to tell. We've all done it before. You cut the ceiling fan off and you want to leave the room. You're like, I don't know if I actually pulled it, the chain to the right one, because it's still spinning. And you got to wait a while, but eventually it slows down. It stops spinning. And that's the way that people are. It's like you realize that you're not connected to a power source and you're just spinning until you stop. You got to be charged up. You got to be connected. And you can't have people in your life that are running around pulling your doggone chain until you stop spinning. I'm super grateful for the people in my life, because the people in my life, if they saw that I was slowing down, like, they're going to come and, you know what I'm saying? Like, try to keep me spinning, man. Like, the people in my life, they check in on me. They care about me. They want to make sure I'm doing good because they know if I'm doing good, that my family's doing good. And I guess in a subconscious, maybe it's not subconscious, I don't know what it is, but like also if you're doing well, like, you know, like I need you. You know what I'm saying? Like I need you to be well because I care about you. And I have other people in my life, I care about them. And it's important for me to see that they are doing well. If you are not good, then I am not good. And I think that's the type of symbiotic relationship that, you know, in the circle of friends you have, for better or for worse. So like we could negatively impact each other, you know what I'm saying? Like by not doing well, because if somebody actually cares about you and is there for you, like they're going to carry that burden with you. Like I have friends that, you know, I've had to carry some people, man. I had to carry some people for a time, for a season. And I'm grateful that I was able to do that for them. And let me tell you, they've carried me too. They've carried me too. There were times when I needed those same people to put me on their shoulder because I got shot in the leg on the battlefield of life and I was bleeding out, and they picked me up and they carried me to safety. And it's never a thing of like keeping score. You know what I'm saying? Like no one's keeping count. Oh, I held you down. You know, you don't hold me. Like no egos.
There's people like that though.
And those are the worst.
that we both know.
Come on, man. Those are the worst. It never let you forget. Yo, man, remember that time? It's like, okay. And moving on. My goodness. Keeping score isn't good in any relationship. It definitely don't work in marriage. It's not a good idea. It's not cool for friends either. In your circle of friends, don't keep score about who was holding the other down and who sacrificed more. And I gave you this. Like, if that's the way that you're going to be, I don't want it.
Right?
I don't want it. Because like I said, it's not a sacrifice if you have it to give. And if you're not willing to make the sacrifice, please don't make it. You know, there isn't anything that crazy in my life that I'm going to die. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't make a sacrifice for me. And I thank God I got enough people around me that, you know, if I really, really needed it, like somebody would be willing to make a sacrifice. I don't need you trying to hold anything over my head.
Right.
I don't need it. I don't need anything that bad. I'm good, you know? So, but you know, it also means being that type of person for somebody else. Being that person that's like, yeah, Ken, I will, you know, drive 2 hours, you know what I'm saying? Like to come and help you with what that thing that you need because you really need it. And you just, there's no one else. And I was like, I got you. And I'm not going to hold it over your head. I'm not, it's like, it's.
Yeah. By the way, be careful with that.
It's done.
I'll let you continue in a second.
I shouldn't drive to you.
Be careful with people in your life that you think are there for you, but literally hold everything they do for you over your head, because that's a different person as well. They will bring it up and tell you, remember. They got I don't need
list. They're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
On
be careful
Tuesday, January 30th, I helped Fenton. Come on, man.
Did you need that?
I will find out after this episode is done. It's my birth certificate.
But yeah, sorry to cut you. But yeah, it's very important. Be careful with the person that you think is helping you, but literally just holds it over your head.
I mean, for what? What's like because I don't understand that mentality. I'm like, why would you do that other than to, you know, maybe you want to appear to be, you know, magnanimous and you're just like puffing yourself up like, oh, I was able to help this person and do this and do that. As I'm saying it out loud, I guess that's probably it. It would never cross my mind because I'm not that type of person. But that's weird. You're sick. You need to see a therapist.
You might be a sociopath.
Yeah, man, or some type of narcissistic behavior or something. And it's like, I'm saying that like in jest, like, oh, you're sick. Like, at the same time, like if you're listening to this and you are that person or you know somebody who's like that, first things first, if the shoe fits, you know what to do. Wear that sucker. All right. When when people say things like this that trigger people, it's probably because that's you.
Ooh.
And it's okay to be triggered. Don't get mad. Get glad. Take take, take a close look in the mirror. I had a friend once that posted something online, and I was like, "Yo, are you talking about me?" And she was like, "Nope, I wasn't. But if the shoe fits," I said, "Wow, okay. I guess I needed to hear that. I needed to be triggered. The trigger is a good thing. If your circle of friends, if people trigger you, that's your body. I'm not a neuroscientist or anything, but that's your body somehow telling you, pay attention, man. That behavior, what Ken's doing, that's not cool. It's rubbing me the wrong way. Something about that behavior doesn't work for me, and we ignore those triggers. We take that discomfort and we squash it, and it's not healthy. It's like we all got to use the bathroom, right? This is one's gonna get me in trouble. We all got to use the bathroom. You can't like not go to the bathroom. You can't keep that stuff inside of you. That's not healthy. It's got to be toxic. I wouldn't know. I use the bathroom all the time. I'm very regular. But I would imagine if you like, this one went left. But if you didn't, you would have a problem. And your doctor would be like, yo, we need to perform surgery and get all this stuff out of your body. And I'm going to leave it there. But what I'm saying is, don't let negative emotions sit inside of your body. The stuff is toxic. It needs to be flushed out. The problem is people don't like having uncomfortable conversations.
Yes, they really don't. God forbid you got pushed into a corner.
That conversation is the toilet, man. You gotta flush. This is the best. The best part about this, it's gonna live on the internet forever.
I love it.
It's like hot poo in your belly. You gotta get those feelings out.
What am I gonna do with you, Fenton?
Get me a black shirt.
Don't tempt me. I'll have them shipped right to your house.
Like a box of black t-shirts.
A box of Code 13 shirts right to your house.
I will say this, and then I'll shut up. People are gonna remember. I'm gonna hear it. Somebody's gonna say it. Fenton, you were talking about using the bathroom.
That was your analogy. That's your analogy. The bathroom.
But it stuck with me though. It's like, but you're right. I gotta go. When you gotta go, you gotta go. When you need to talk, you need to talk. When you have to get these feelings out, you gotta get it out. You gotta say what you gotta say, and you can't be afraid to have the conversations because it's not going to serve you. That's all I have to say about it.
Like I always say, what's the teleprompter? Well said, Fenton. Well said.
That's what the teleprompter told me to say. So, I'm just reading what's on the screen. They can't see it, but I can see it. That's on the screen.
All right, yeah. So as we wrap this episode up, I just want to again talk to the audience and say it's okay to decide who you want in your circle, and don't let someone just drain you of your energy. Again, friend or family. If you're going to be giving off your positive energy to others and all you're receiving is negative, it's okay to take that person out of your circle. It's okay to talk to them and say, listen, this isn't working. But don't feel like you have to be a hostage around your friends and family that, maybe I'm not saying that person doesn't love you, doesn't want to see good for you, but if all they're translating is negative and telling you it can't be done, or telling you, your dream is too big, or whatever it may be, get yourself around people that do believe in you more. Get yourself around people that want to see you succeed, can help you succeed. I'm not saying that you need someone to succeed, but it's nice when you have people that are each other's crutches, people that can help motivate. It's nice to have that. It's a positive reinforcement. Um, and again, if you're the one listening in right now and you're being triggered, like Fenton said earlier, if you're being triggered by this, saying, well, you know, that sounds like something I do, and maybe I don't want to see someone succeed over me, then look in the mirror, you know? And again, I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. Fenton isn't either. I'm not trying to talk for him, but we've known each other a long time, and I don't think I'm better than someone. I know that the people I keep around me, though, will help me if I need it, whether it be emotionally or just positive reinforcement. But I do the same. So it's okay to only want that in your life. If you continue to be the hostage of your own emotion because you feel like, well, I've known this person for so long, or that person is my sibling, my parent, my cousin, whatever, a family member, or I've known this friend since I was 10 years old, and now I'm 50, 40, 30, whatever it may be. It's not your job to have that person in your life while you give off your positivity, and all they can do is be negative around you. It's not your job to keep them there and make sure they're okay all the time if they're not making sure that you're okay all the time. So just food for thought.
Cut them off. No, I'm just kidding. Don't but do learn to set boundaries, healthy boundaries, and to assert those boundaries, protect, your peace and all those things. To your point, it's a choice. It is a choice. If you choose to keep people in your life that don't serve you, the only one you have to blame is yourself, because it's always a choice. We want to acknowledge it's not easy. And there's a lot of work that you may have to do on yourself to build yourself up to a place where you can create those boundaries, maintain those boundaries, and deal with the consequences of those boundaries. Because not everyone's going to respond positively to your fancy pants growth and your personal development and living your best life. All right. People, they got issues for a reason. And you can't expect that things are always going to go, smoothly. But at the end of the day, this is your life. This is your circle. And it's most important that it serves you. So, cut them off. No, listen, this is great. It's a really good conversation. I'm glad that we talked about it today. And I'm going to go cut some people off. And you all folks, go share this with somebody that you know. Again, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you'll get notified when the episode goes live. Next episode goes live, and check out our shorts on YouTube. Check us out on TikTok and Instagram, and follow us everywhere, and just tell people about it. And that's it.
That's all we got.
Have a great one, bro.
You too, brother. Go make sure you get your plumbing checked out, all right?
My plumbing. Okay, great.